Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a short little video on winter caring for your horses. It's quite a tricky time of year. I know that a lot of my clients are struggling on which exercises to do or actually even to get their horses out of their stables because of the snow and the ice. And I just want to let you know that you're all in the same boat. Not everyone has access to indoor schools, so don't worry for starters. However, saying that, there are a few things that you can do to ensure that your horse does not lose too much condition. And I think condition is key. I'm seeing a lot of horses that are losing a lot of muscle very quickly. And again, I don't want to scare you all, but if you are at all worried about your horse losing condition, you need to contact your veterinarian as soon as possible. Rather get their advice before it's too late. Okay, so let's start with what to do with your horse. So the first thing I would recommend is nutrition. So we know with changing seasons comes a change in the nutritional content of the forage, the soil, everything your horse is putting into their digestive system is different to what it was 6 months ago. The quality is different. So my number one tip for starters is to seek advice from an independent nutritionist regarding the quality of the food you are feeding your horse in relation to the season that we are in. I think that is key because no matter what you do with your horse in terms of exercise or lack of exercise, if they are not getting the appropriate nutrition, that they will lose condition. It's the same for humans. So, doing a soil test, looking into the quality of your haylage, the quality of your hay, and again, looking at supplements to see if you need to be adding more of something else or taking something else out of their normal diet. For me, diet is key before anything else. You need to find out exactly what is best for your horse at this time of year. Okay, so once you have established the nutrition, then we need to consider your management. So for horses that are unfortunately stabled, some of you are stabled for 24 hours a day, which I'm sure you won't want for your horse, but because of the limited space and the issue with fields, some of you have no choice. So let's not panic. There are things you can be doing. And again, for me, the top tip in this department would be to get your horses out of their stable, in hand walking them. 2 to 3 times a day is better than one 40-minute session outside their box. You need to keep them moving. Horses are used to free ranging, they're used to moving. And unfortunately, with the size of most stables nowadays, we don't offer that. So please get them out at least 2 or 3 times a day. For me, consistency is better. So short, regular bursts are better than long, sporadic bursts where they're allowed to do what they want. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about when you get them out of the stable. Remember that especially if it's very cold, say minus temperatures, you need to watch the ground condition, but also more importantly, you need to factor in what you're doing. So I know a few people are just letting their horses run free in the arena, which is again not a bad thing. They can move, obviously they can do what they want, but just factor in warm-up time. This is coming from obviously me as a practitioner. If your horse has been stable for 2 days and you decide to just let them run free in the arena, be aware that they're at higher risk of injuring themselves because they've gone from being stuck, immobile, into sporadic movement, which can potentially cause injury. So what I would suggest to avoid this would be an in-hand walking session. So walk them around in hand. You have control around the arena where it is less chance of them slipping, obviously on concrete, but please do warm them up first. 10 minutes around the arena in hand first, straight lines, and then let them go to have their little run round. Please, that's quite important. Again, like I mentioned before, if you can be doing this 2 or 3 times a day, it's better than once a day, just a sporadic run round, and more so even doing it, don't do it, when they're stuck in for stables 2 days and then you turn them out randomly. They are at higher risk of injuring themselves when you do this, okay? Then I want to talk about other exercises. So in hand is key, get them out the stable, get them moving. And then really important things which everyone can do, no matter if you're snowed in, if it's too icy, take their rug off in the stable, monitor them, observe them, get your hands on your horses, start grooming them. I don't know what the association is with, I suppose, riding and grooming, but even if you're not riding your horse, get your hands on your horses, groom them thoroughly from head to toe. This is a really good opportunity for you to monitor them, to make sure that there's no skin conditions that are occurring. We know that with the mud and things like that, there's a higher chance of them getting things like mud fever, and especially with the rugging that people are doing at the moment. If you don't take the rug off, you won't know what is happening underneath the rug in terms of, is there any discomfort, or are they uncomfortable? So take their rugs off, give them a really good groom. Grooming also has a really, really beneficial effect on the muscles themselves. You're stimulating blood flow to the muscle, you're targeting large muscle groups, which is so important for those horses that are stuck in the stable, don't have much space to move around, and are dropping condition rapidly. Please groom your horses. It's really, really beneficial for their muscles. Okay. After you've done that, you've walked them round. Really, which I think is so easy to do, are some yoga horse moves. Again, that's quite a lay term, but there is so much you can do with your horses in terms of stretching in the stable. There's the standard lateral stretches. There are leg mobilizations into low extensions. Again, before you do any of these yoga moves, I would obviously speak to your professional, your practitioner, your veterinarian first, to make sure that you're not going to injure your horse. So if you're unsure about anything, contact your professional, but your horse will not lose condition as rapidly if you routinely and consistently factor in these stretching exercises in the stable daily. And again, the whole thing from start to finish, so walking around, grooming your horse, doing some horse yoga, it can take as much time as you want, or if you haven't got time and your time is short, you can do this whole routine in 40 minutes. It's not that much time, but it's going to have a lasting effect, especially during this cold time. Again, if you need any advice, please seek your professional, but there's plenty we can do. Okay. Another thing, again, this is individual to your horse, so please be aware that, again, I'd seek advice first, but these are just ideas. To keep your horses stimulated in the stable, you could provide them with hay toys, the food balls or hay balls. Again, making sure though that you don't overfeed your horses. So again, this is when your nutritional advice is going to factor in. But there's just ways of presenting food to your horses in different ways that are not the standard, oh, here's a food bowl or here's a hay net. And again, on the topic of hay nets, personally, I really don't like hay nets. I know that some horses need them because they eat their hay on the floor too quickly. Again, each horse is individual, so speak to your professional on what they would recommend given your current horse's age, size, breed, and body condition. Okay, but feeding from the floor is obviously much better than hay nets. And again, moving things around, so having small hay piles around the stable that they have to move from corner to corner, as opposed to just they're set and stuck in one place eating hay off the floor. We just need to mimic what horses would do naturally out in the fields, which is walk and graze. So I know it's tricky, and I know a lot of you are struggling, but please be aware that there is plenty you can do for your horses in these situations. And just another kind of side topic, ask yourself, what is your current plan with your horse over the next 3 to 6 months? Because if you have nothing set for the next 6 months, take pressure off of yourself. You know, we're so reliable and influenced by the weather at the moment that I'm guessing some of you are dying to just get back on your horses and ride. But because of the ground conditions and a few of you not having access to indoor schools, don't feel lost. There's things you can do, but I would relate it to your goal. So if you have something coming up in the next 3 months that you feel like, okay, you actually need your horse to maintain their condition, speak to your professional, your veterinarian, your practitioner, and ask them if they can recommend any exercises that you can do routinely and consistently during the winter month to get you into early spring. That there is so much that we can do. So don't feel lost, don't feel disheartened. There's so many things we can do with our horses. If you need any advice, please just give me a shout or speak to your professional. Okay. Another thing as well, just a little word of warning. There's a few situations where people don't have time in the week and they are leaving their horses, say, stabled or 1 hour turnout a day in the week, and then the weekend they are riding them for longer than an hour, Saturdays and Sundays. Again, this is not ideal because you're putting your horse at increased risk of injuring themselves. Again, consistency is key. So sit back, look at your week ahead or your month ahead and talk to your professional or your practitioner on how you can keep your horse mobile and keep the condition on them without doing these sporadic bursts of exercise where they are potentially at high risk of injuring themselves. Okay, good. So I hope you found this helpful, and everyone stay safe.